Wuthering Heights, War and Peace, Bravo 2-0 by Andy McNabb. Classic books of the past. And if it was a football thing, that's the sort of thing we'd be dishing up as a Champions League thing. Unfortunately, all we can give you this week is a Michael Owen joke book. We're stuck in the Europa League. Boo-hoo. But we've got a bit of good news. If you saw the Sunday night show on Sunday night, funnily enough, we had a debutant, probably the best United debutant since Rooney, hat-trick Fenerbahce a few years ago, Champions League again, boo-hoo. But we've got Zara on the show. We're here to discuss the Europa League against, and I'm not even going to pretend I know how to pronounce this, FC Midtjylland, I think it is, Danish side. Don't really want to dwell on them too much unless you're an Anorak and you want to know about how bad they are. This should be, over 2 legs, quite a comfortable game for Manchester United. But I'm going to fly into it, Zara, because I'm sure people want to look at you more than they want to look at me. The big question is really, is this where Manchester United's eggs all in one basket lie now?
Well, yeah, definitely, because I said it on Sunday. I don't think we have a chance at top 4. I just don't. With the way that we're going, even if we change managers, even if Ryan Giggs carries on, we might be able to just stay 6th or something like that. So I guess all we can do now is just hope for the best for Europa, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at it before we started there. I mean, we've got this FC Midtjylland, and I've been saying for a few weeks that top 4's gone. We needed like a 70-80% win rate. Van Gaal's never gone above 50% in his whole career, and has taken 4 points from 9 against Sunderland and Chelsea and Stoke, which is just abysmal. But he did say today, or I think it would be yesterday, or whenever you're watching this, that he's had unbelievable bad luck with injuries. Obviously, Darmian's out. We suspect that probably Varela will come in at right back. I don't know what your thoughts on that. But I just want to quickly touch on this bad luck. I mean, he's had a transfer window last summer where I don't think he did enough. January where they did anything. And also the last 3 years, we've consistently had bad injuries. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, do you think it's bad luck? For me, I just think, anybody could have seen this was going to happen. And I think he's pulling at straws.
Yeah, I just think it's poor organisation by Van Gaal and the board, because possibly they could have said in January transfer window, maybe the board just went, no, we don't want to spend on any others because we want to use the buyout clause to get Van Gaal out. That could be one of the options. And if not, if Van Gaal goes at the end of the season, then they've just wasted an entire January transfer window when something could have been done. So there was always an option if there was an injury to cover our backs and be able to fight back in all the matches.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've always said 100% that Van Gaal is gone in the summer. Unfortunately, it should be Van Gaal gone before Christmas. As you said there, they haven't bought anybody in January because they don't want to back him. But I firmly believe getting rid of him at Christmas, we would be able to have got top 4. I mean, how many points? Must be about 20 or 30 points since Christmas that we could have played for with a new manager. But that is gone. We will not lament on that any further. Europa League is our best chance of Champions League. I think we are 6 points behind Manchester City, but more importantly, we are 10 behind Spurs, Arsenal, and 12 behind Leicester. We're not going to catch Man City. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, they've got far better players than us, even if they're a bunch of mercenaries. At some point, they'll want their money. But the Europa League is interesting. I'm slightly perturbed by this because I thought, well, Dortmund are obviously in it. Sevilla, Valencia, Bilbao are in it. They'd be our toughest tests if we can get through. And I think the Spanish teams would wipe the floor of us. But obviously Spurs are in it. I think they probably might give up on it because top 4 is what they're interested in, probably even the title. But Galatasaray, Lazio, Bilbao, as I said, Fenerbahce, Porto, although they do play Dortmund. There's a lot of good teams in this tournament. I mean, are you confident that we can do it? It sounds really silly to say that considering how bad a season we've had. But are you confident we can do anything in this tournament?
Well, I was talking to some of the people on Twitter earlier on in the day about it, and the main issue that we had was Thursday is that shot where Van Gaal can either show that he can do something for the club for once, or that's the end of it. I think Thursday will really show whether we can actually be the better team and fight for Champions League. But I also was saying that the way Rooney was after the dismal match, he just seemed dismal. He didn't seem hopeful. He didn't seem encouraging, and that just wasn't a good enough leader with the situation that Man United are in.
No, again, I've been saying that Rooney's not a captain ever since he was given the armband. Absolutely thrown in the towel like that. I don't care what anybody says. Roy Keane, Brian Robson, even the likes of Vidic just wouldn't have done that. He's not a captain. I think Rooney would be a better player not as captain. I think it's another. I don't really necessarily blame Rooney. It's another bad decision by Van Gaal. He's so stubborn and arrogant. He just doesn't understand how this Premier League works. And he thinks by picking Rooney every week, it's going to please Man United fans. And he's so arrogant and doesn't understand Manchester United that he doesn't understand that Rooney's always been a divider with Man United fans. Some fans absolutely love him. It's so dark, they're right up his backside. And then there's some United fans who really don't forgive him for what he did in the past, or think he's on the decline like Alex does. So no, I'd agree with that. I think we are leading this. That's a massive problem. Personally, I'd give it to De Gea or Carrick. But I just want to touch on Carrick as well. My next question to you is what sort of players would you be playing on Thursday? Personally, I think we should play at our best team. Carrick didn't play very well against Sunderland, but I did back him because at the end of the day, he's the only midfielder who tries to play the forward pass. Granted, against Sunderland, he played a lot of wayward passes, but at least he tries to play forward, which is what we've been doing for the last few games. I just think we were abysmal in the second half in creating chances, and there's no excuses for that. But what sort of team would you be putting out against this Danish also-ran pub team? Would you be putting out the youth, or would you be going out strong team?
I'd say a strong team, and mainly because I think this is the only chance we're going to get, really. We need to make the best opportunity of the end of the season, because it's nearing there, and it's just looking abysmal to everyone. But the thing is, although we'd put out the best team, what would Van Gaal do? I think he's going to put out, for instance, like Memphis, who's used to the international football, and because maybe that's where he's better suited. Maybe he'll shine on Thursday if he plays. We don't know what's going to happen because it's so unpredictable, these matches nowadays. And you've just got to keep your fingers crossed for every single time. You're on edge for the whole 90 minutes and you never know what's coming around the corner.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I suppose that's one way of saying it. I think sometimes you feel like you're glued to your seat like Van Gaal and you're trying to keep yourself awake. But I agree with you about Memphis. He has performed better in the European games when he's played for us. I think his attitude, I think you might have touched it a bit yourself on Sundays. There was that one bit which was indicative. You can have a go at Rooney, but when Memphis was jogging past, trying to get his man back, and then Rooney sprints past him and gets it back. If Rooney's got critics, then God knows how many Memphis has got, because that was really, really poor. But, I think we will win it. I said it after the Chelsea game. There are some fair weather United fans out there who I think if we will win the next two games, we will beat this Danish side, and we should beat Shrewsbury as well. And I'm sure a lot of fans will start going on Van Gaal in again. But that ship's sailed and sinking. You expect us to win, I presume, Zara? You're not going to come out with some we're going to lose.
No, I expect us to win, but I think the downside to it, I think that Van Gaal's going to be aiming for a draw, and that's what's really disappointing, because every time he's aiming for a draw and thinking that's the best option when we just need to win. We need to win for a change, but win really well.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Europa League, we've got to get excited. We've got no other choice. And for those fans out there who, we were talking about this on Twitter the other day, what would you prefer, FA Cup or Europa League? The vast majority are going for the FA Cup. You're getting the Champions League with Europa League. Come on, think about it. But we've covered it. That's the preview. It is on Thursday night. Unfortunately, you're going to have to endure watching the likes of Arsenal and Chelsea in the Champions League. But don't worry, they won't win it. And I'll be live straight after the match, as per usual, on Thursday. There we go. Thanks for coming on, Zara. Welcome to the channel. And I believe you're on Twitter now as well. Your username is?
At Z_Silverstone.
At Z_Silverstone. Thanks very much for coming on. Obviously, we'll see more of you on the channel in future. Obviously, got the new logo as well. I think it's up on the left. So lots of new changes on the United stand. Still the same fan content. Still saying how it is. Thanks everybody for watching. Like the video, it means a lot. Follow Zara on her Twitter channel, and we'll be back later in the week with a lot more. Thanks for watching the United Stand.